I'm here at the Memorial Pegasus Museum, close to, of course, the Pegasus Bridge. The tank that I'm looking at here is a Centaur. First thing you will notice are these numerals all over the turret, and we're going to find out what they were for. The Pegasus Bridge saw the start of D-Day unfold with 6 British gliders landing close to the location, and from here the start of the assault on the bridge would set off around 0:30 hours on June 6. Today you can find the Memorial Pegasus Museum here. This museum is dedicated to tell the history of the airborne operations around this area. One particular interesting vehicle you can find here is this original Centaur tank. It was placed on display at the Pegasus Bridge after it was found in a field in Hermanville in 1975. It would have landed on the Sword Beach during D-Day and was knocked out and abandoned. It was restored in Antwerp, Belgium and placed on display there until it was returned to Normandy and placed opposite to the famous Café Gondret at the Pegasus Bridge. But in 2014 it was restored again and moved to the new Pegasus Museum. If you walk around the tank today, the first thing you will probably notice are the numbers around the turret. And it will probably leave a lot of people confused in what those actually are or stand for. Now these are deflection skills. They were used to direct fire from outside the tank during the D-Day landing. But I made a video explaining this in greater detail in my Centaur video here on YouTube. So have a look if you want to know more about this. I will post a video link in the description below. The Centaur at the Pegasus Museum is the only original Centaur left in the world that landed on Sword Beach during D-Day. These Centaur tanks would have had the orders to stay on the beach and give fire support until the troops would have broken through the German defenses. When the Canadians and British forces broke through, somewhere between Hermanville and Lyon-sur-Mer, this Centaur would have moved inland and ran into German troops. It reversed back into the bocage, but was signaled in by German troops and came under heavy mortar fire. Some of the stowage was set on fire, making it hard to navigate around, and eventually the engine was hit and caught fire. The crew bailed out and left the Centaur behind. It would stay here abandoned for a long time, probably because it was too far into a field and too hard to recover. Eventually it sat on somebody's property, making it even harder to recover, and this is probably why it survived the scrapper. Close to where this Centaur tank was knocked out, you can also find this Centaur mock-up. At first glance this looks like an original Centaur, but it was built up from an old Cavalier turret and the body of a Centaur dozer tank. You can still see the fittings and welding marks for the dozer on all sides, like the fittings to the side on the engine deck, which would have held the small little engine deck side panels. You can also see several battle damage marks on the turret from when it was used as a range target. If you look at the two information signs, they both say Churchill tank and have a lot of information considering the Churchill tanks. That's because before 2000 this spot was occupied by a Churchill AVRE tank. This tank was owned by the Imperial War Museum in Duxford, and when the tank was sent back to the museum they did not want to leave this spot empty and restored the dozer to look like his Centaur tank to honor the brave men and tank crews that fought in this area. Since then the tank has been sitting here without any care for 20 years and it's pretty much becoming a pile of rust. And I really get annoyed to actually see this, because if you keep the tank clean it will not rust. Just look at the Sexton tank at Vers-sur-Mer a few towns away. It's just doing fine with regular cleaning, never repainted, and has been placed here the same year as this Centaur. Today you can visit the tank at the end of the museum route, and if you're in the area I highly recommend you go see one of the only original Centaur tanks in the world. And I also would recommend the local surroundings, because this is pretty much where D-Day started off, and I can't wait to tell you the story of the Pegasus Bridge assault in another video. The second Centaur can be found in the town of Hermanville-sur-Mer on the main road close to the beach. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to support the channel think about buying me a coffee. Or check out the new Centaur and Cromwell merch in my store. See you in the next episode and have an awesome weekend.